introduce you to Haji here in a moment, who's sitting in the center, who's our drum teacher. But I just want to give you a little bit of background for why we're doing this. This goes back, really not even to, goes back to more than a year ago. When we went as a group, many of us, to the Marema for the first time to drum with Haji. It was the first time I met Haji on the suggestion of Miss Monsieur Bea. Went up there and spent a couple of days drumming. Out of that, we went to Senegal for a week. And then we just repeated the experience now in a slightly different location in Marema drumming again. Not all the same people, different people each time. So the group has kind of grown. A lot of the people who drummed with us last year have actually graduated now. So we have a new group of drummers and some carrying through. Drumming. Why am I interested in drumming? I tell you what, I came this morning to the school with two things in my hand. One was my drum, and the other was my yoga mat, which Mr. Mayor is right in front of here. And because I do yoga on a Monday night. But in many ways, I see these two activities as very similar. You know, they're also like other things I've done in my life. Martial arts. I used to fence. Kendo, if you know what Japanese fencing is for Oxford. All of these, you might call them sports or activities or music, actually have something in common. They're all very spiritual. They involve emptying the mind. They focus on the breath, involving having a center at your core. And drumming is very much like that. Drumming is a spiritual activity. It very much is so for West African drummers like Haji. Haji is a Muslim, and for Muslims in West Africa, drumming is more than just making music. For them, it's the equivalent of prayer. In West African Sufism, drumming has a very central part in their religion. And so being a part of this, I think for all of us, is a very moving experience. Going to Senegal, when we went to Senegal, we went there for a week to have this experience of drumming. We arrived in the middle of the night. When we got off the boat, it was, I don't know, I can't remember the time, 1, 2 in the morning, maybe it was later than that. We found as we pulled up in the port, a kind of notice board, a little notice that said, "Welcome to St. Stephen's students," yeah? And another one that said that we were going to be performing that Friday night before the whole island. This was an island off Dakar, where we spent the week. So we spent the week drumming in the morning and drumming in the afternoon. And between those times, we were just exploring this island, very small island, a few thousand people. Yeah, mostly children, because more than 50% of the drumming are children. And it was, I think, for everyone involved, myself included, an incredible experience in the sense that, for me, I usually, as you probably know, need trips that involve hiking and mountain climbing and rock climbing and all this sort of thing. It really reached back to an experience that I had when I was your age. I hadn't been to Sub-Saharan Africa in almost 30 years. When I was your age, 16, 17, I went on foreign exchange from an American high school to Kenya for 3 months. And I lived with an African family, this was the Gorèe family in Kenya, on a farm without running water and electricity and all the rest. And it really changed my life. When I went there, I thought I was going to probably study art at university, or architecture perhaps. And when I came back, I studied anthropology instead. So, experiences like these are really, what can I say? I think everyone who went on this Senegal trip will agree that it was life-changing in some way. Really what we did when we weren't drumming involved integrating with the local people. Some of the students went and worked in the local school. Some of the students played football with the boys. Some of us just wandered around and had interactions with the people on the island. And as I said, a lot of them were children. And so, these children were free on the island from the age of when they could barely walk up until your age, of 18. They were all mixing, mingling in together, the older ones looking after the younger ones, and there were no parents in between. It was quite an eye-opener to see that. I think it was quite an eye-opener for the students to realize that this is how children have been raised for centuries. Not with parents sort of there hovering over every single student for every given minute. And so the students in many ways had a chance to also negotiate their own experiences with people. From children who they interacted with, played with, taught English to, went to the schools and played with, up to adults who they had a chance to meet. And I think that was really quite an important, very special experience. The person who really guided us on this, the reason we went to this island, which is called Gorèe. It's just off Dakar, short distance, 20-minute, 30-minute boat ride. It was a former slave island, meaning that it was an island that during much of history was first a Portuguese and later English and Dutch colony, where slaves from West Africa would be channeled toward the New World. That is, they would be brought to the mainland and kind of grouped there before they'd be put on ships for the New World, or the Caribbean. And so it's an island that's full of a very, what can you say, traumatic history. At the same time, there is a museum devoted to this history, which Obama and others have visited as well. It's a very special place, despite this history. it's a kind of testimony, if you like, to overcoming this very traumatic history. And the reason we went to Gorèe, apart from everything I've said, is because Haji here, who's our drum master, is from Gorèe. And he really invited us into his home. We ate in his family restaurant. We spent a lot of time with members of his family, and all our time with Haji. You know, we owed Haji the fact that we were able to have this experience, really, because we would not have had the chance to insert ourselves in this culture without him. Haji is, again, this is one of many occasions where he's come and performed with us. Second time before all of you, we just performed last Tuesday in the Cultural Center for a charity event. It was a fundraising event. And there's still an exhibition going on in the Cultural Center, which is paintings which are on sale. 20% of the revenue from the sale of those paintings will go to this project, which is Drumming for Gorèe, and that's what we're really here to do today. Drumming for Gorèe is the cast project of two students here, Valentina Wardon and Dr Treherne, and it is a project which aims at raising money through our performances or through any activities which we do as a group, drumming activities usually, for a school on Gorèe, which the students volunteered in this past March when we were there for the week. Providing school supplies, providing perhaps even more infrastructural support to the school. It's a project, again, which if you're interested in getting involved in, and to get involved in this project is fun, because you become drum, yeah? It's a club that meets, we're aiming to meet on Thursdays in I, here in the chapel, every week, and drum. So it's fun, yeah? And at the same time it's doing something which is fun. You can get involved, learn to drum, learn to play the djembe, for you, and you can contribute towards this project. I think that's all I want to say. But let's dispense with the words and show you something. but that's just a little sample of the drumming with Haji's talk. I thought Haji might want to just say a word or two.
Buongiorno a tutti. Volevo ringraziare i ragazzi che mi stanno accompagnando, facendo, perché io per me sto facendo una missione di scambio culturale, mi sento come un ambasciatore culturale, quindi sono qui da 14 anni che sto cercando di trasmettere la mia cultura attraverso la musica dei percussioni africani. Poi volevo ringraziare Beatrice e Paul, tutti loro due che hanno appoggiato questo progetto che sto facendo qui, poi soprattutto anche grazie pure alla scuola che ci hanno dato un'accoglienza molto calorosa. Volevo dire complimenti ai ragazzi di adesso anche dall'anno scorso, perché io mi sento molto bene con loro per la loro educazione. Non è facile avere un gruppo di 20-24, soprattutto giovani, e poi siamo stati in Senegal a casa mia, dentro l'isola di Gorèe, che mi sono trovato molto bene, poi non sono stati molto, come si dice ancora, meno complicati, perché si sono comportati bene e si sono adattati facilmente. Quindi io sempre dico forse è la scuola o i genitori, che dipende dall'educazione che hanno. Poi grazie a tutti quanti, complimenti ancora a voi.